Imagine a scene. It is the dead of winter. Snow falls thick and silent, blanketing a vast, unforgiving mountain range. A modern hiker, decked in the latest outdoor tech, close on his synthetic, waterproof, breathable jacket, close on rigid, injection-molded boots with space-age insulation. He looks prepared for anything. 30 minutes later, his expensive gear fails. Sweaty, damp layers trap moisture and become a conductor of cold. The situation is dire, exposure is winning. Rewind the clock to year 1324. A medieval traveler moves through the same landscape. His clothing is simple: wool, leather, linen, soft hand-stitched leather boots, almost flimsy by modern standards. No advanced equipment, no GPS, no satellite phone. By modern logic, he should be in peril. Yet, he is not. He walks with a steady, practiced rhythm. He travels for days and survives. A paradox. How can centuries-old materials and designs outperform modern products in extreme cold? We've poured billions into R&D, created fabrics in laboratories, tested them in climatic wind tunnels, built a global supply chain of polymers and composites, and still, our ancestors knew something fundamental about staying warm. This is life and death. It challenges what advanced truly means. We'll dive into the physics of heat, the biology of the human body, the forgotten engineering principles of our past. We'll deconstruct the medieval turn shoe. We'll deconstruct the modern hiking boot. Have convenience, speed, and mass production introduced a crucial weakness into our survival systems? The central question: have we taken a step backward? To find the answer, we must embark on a thorough investigation. This is a story of science. This is a story of history. This is a story of human ingenuity. Our deep dive will be structured to uncover the truth, layer by layer, just like the clothing our ancestors wore. We will begin by exploring the fundamental laws of physics that govern warmth and cold. We will examine the invisible force of conduction. We will examine the invisible force of convection. We will examine the invisible force of radiation. We will examine the invisible force of evaporation. These are the four horsemen of heat loss, the constant threats our bodies must fight in a cold environment. To understand how to stay warm, we must first understand why we are warm to begin with. The human body is a remarkable biological furnace. At its core, it is constantly burning fuel, the calories from the food we eat, to generate heat. This process, known as metabolism, maintains our core temperature at a stable 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature is the sweet spot, the optimal operating condition for the countless chemical reactions that keep us alive. The challenge of survival in the cold is not about creating heat from nothing. It is about protecting the heat we are already so brilliantly generating. The fundamental laws of thermodynamics dictate that heat will always flow from a warmer object to a colder one. Since we are almost always warmer than our winter surroundings, we are constantly losing our precious thermal energy to the environment. If we lose heat faster than our metabolism can produce it, our core body temperature begins to drop. This is the simple, brutal definition of hypothermia. Therefore, the concept of insulation is often misunderstood. Insulation does not generate warmth. The true secret to almost all effective insulation, from bird feathers to fiberglass to wool, is not the material itself, but the air it traps. Air is a poor conductor of heat, meaning it transfers thermal energy very slowly. By trapping countless tiny pockets of still air close to the body, insulation creates a buffer zone, a protective cloak of warmed air that slows down the great escape of your vital heat. The first and most direct method of heat loss is conduction. This occurs when your body comes into direct physical contact with a colder object. Imagine placing your warm hand on a cold slab of stone. You can feel the warmth flowing out of your palm almost instantly. This is conduction in action. In the context of winter survival, conduction is a primary threat, particularly for our feet. If that sole is made from a highly conductive material, it acts less like a barrier and more like a highway for heat to escape. This is what we call a thermal bridge. A dense rubber sole, for example, can become incredibly cold and will actively pull warmth out of your foot with every single moment of contact. This is why sitting or lying directly on snow or cold ground without a protective layer is so dangerous. Early humans and our medieval ancestors understood this intuitively. They would use layers of pine boughs, animal hides, or a thick bed of dry leaves to create a barrier. Let us now step into the medieval workshop and examine the first piece of evidence. The footwear, the common shoe of the era, was a design known as the turn shoe. At first glance, it appears almost comically simple. It consists of a single piece of soft, flexible leather for the upper and a separate piece for the sole, stitched together while inside out. The shoe is then turned right side out, hiding and protecting the seam inside. Because it is soft and flexible, it allows natural foot articulation. That constant movement promotes blood circulation, the body's heat delivery system for the extremities. A rigid modern boot can constrict the foot. The turn shoe, by contrast, encourages the foot to act as its own furnace through active use and circulation. Instead, wearers used insulating inserts like felted wool, straw, or even moss. Those create thick, air-trapping layers that are effective and easily replaced when compressed or damp. The turn shoe was the heart of a customizable system, roomy enough for multiple woolen socks or foot wraps, so insulation could be adjusted to conditions. If the turn shoe was the chassis, then wool was the high-performance engine of the medieval winter system. Each individual wool fiber is not a simple, smooth strand. It has a natural crimp that creates millions of tiny air pockets. The surface of each fiber is covered in tiny, overlapping scales. These scales are hydrophobic, meaning they naturally repel liquid water. At the same time, the core of the wool fiber is hygroscopic, meaning it can absorb a massive amount of water vapor, up to 30% of its own weight, without feeling wet to the touch. This is its most crucial feature. Wool insulates even when it is wet. When the core of the fiber absorbs water vapor, it triggers a chemical process that actually releases a small amount of heat. So, as your sweat evaporates into the wool itself generates warmth. A medieval traveler caught in a freezing rainstorm might be uncomfortable in his damp woolen cloak, but he would remain insulated. A modern hiker in a synthetic fleece jacket that has wetted out is in a far more dangerous situation. While wool managed moisture from within, leather and natural oils provided the first line of defense from outside. That treatment raised water resistance. Liquid water would beat up and roll off, unable to penetrate the oiled surface. But because pores weren't sealed by plastic membranes, leather kept breathing. The whole system acts like a one-way valve for moisture. This creates a perfect synergy. The treated outer leather blocks wind in liquid water, while letting internal vapor escape to the air. The mid-20th century ushered in a revolution. Out of the laboratory came a dazzling array of new materials: polymers, plastics, synthetic fibers. The age of mass production embraced these materials eagerly. Complex boots could now be assembled on a production line, all bonded together with powerful industrial adhesives. On paper, the specifications were impressive. We had, it seemed, solved the problem of staying warm and dry with the power of modern science. But in this rush to innovate, we made a critical error. We forgot that the biggest source of moisture in a winter survival scenario is the sweat produced by our own bodies. Perhaps the most celebrated innovation in modern outdoor gear is the waterproof, breathable membrane. The concept is brilliant. In practice, however, the microscopic pores are easily clogged by dirt, body oils, and salt crystals from sweat. Once clogged, the membrane stops being breathable. It effectively becomes a plastic bag around your foot or body. Humidity spikes until vapor condenses into liquid sweat, soaking socks and insulation. Gear meant to keep you dry now makes you wet and catastrophically cold. Beyond specific material failures, there is a broader, more philosophical problem. It is designed for aesthetics and mass market appeal, not for maximum function. Each additional seam is a potential point of failure and a pathway for heat loss. Each decorative plastic logo is a non-breathable patch. Modern boots are often designed to hug the foot closely. A tight fit restricts blood flow. The roomy, clumsy fit of a medieval shoe was not a design flaw, it was a critical feature. We have forgotten that the ultimate goal is not a waterproof boot, but a warm, dry foot. Our journey through time has brought us to a clear and startling conclusion. The paradox we began with is a lesson in physics. The modern approach, chasing isolated performance metrics and manufacturing efficiency, often creates a rigid, sealed system prone to catastrophic failure. Medieval systems prioritized breathability, adaptability, and synergy with the wearer. In extreme, unpredictable conditions, the medieval philosophy is more resilient. The solution is not to abandon our modern materials. The path forward lies in a synthesis, blending forgotten ancestral wisdom with modern materials science. We must wage a war on thermal bridges, reintroduce thick, non-compressed insulating footbeds, develop more robust, reliable, breathable systems. For the wearer, think like our ancestors. Don't treat clothing as a suit of armor. Treat clothing as a dynamic system you must actively pilot. This journey reveals a truth about human ingenuity. The drive to survive has always pushed us to innovate. By reconnecting with the echoes of ancient physics, we don't take a step backward. We forge a stronger link in the long, unbroken chain of human innovation, creating a future that is safer, warmer, and wiser.